By the end of this video, you'll know how to access the company settings page and what all the individual tabs on the company settings menu is for. Let's get into it. Let's start with how you get to the ARIVE admin panel in the first place. You're going to go to the top right hand corner and click on your profile icon. This is going to cause a menu to extend in the top right hand corner, giving several options that should already be familiar to you. The second option down is company settings. Keep in mind this will only show up if you are at the top level of the branch menu. You see all right above that next to the profile picture. You need to either be on all or your org's top level to see the company settings option on your menu. If you are selected and inside of a branch, you will see branch settings instead, and not all options will be available to you. So keep that in mind. The company admin controls usually open directly to the organizational info tab. Now, you see several tab options on the left, but actually this list is truncated. There are even more options that are going to show up, but my software that takes a picture of the screenshot cut some of it off. So we're going to jump to another view of the menu to walk through each of what these tabs are individually to start to give you a lay of the land. Starting up at the top is the Organizational Info tab. This contains address, contact information. This is where you upload the logos of your business. And if you have a doing business as setup, that's also where you're going to configure it. You also select the color theme of the entire LOS system there. Admin controls is a bit of a grab bag. They continue to add additional settings here that don't quite make sense or fit anywhere else. A lot of it has to do with workflow items, like if loan officers are locked out of files after it's disclosed, or who can edit a file after it's funded or finalized. Licenses manages the licenses at the organizational level. Keep in mind this is different than the licenses on the individual users. Lenders, exactly what it sounds like. This manages the lenders that are available to your team when they are in the product and pricing screen applying products. Along with this, you can control lender-specific fees that are tied to these lenders, as well as other things like mortgagee clauses that might change per lender and other lender-specific settings. Non-delegated is another sort of catch-all where it asks if your shop is primarily broker files or non-delegated files, and then sets up the kind of exception rules for the other case that you do less business with. You'll see a similar rule engine that you see in several others of these tabs for setting up how those files are handled. Agent configuration is for setting up at the org level how the agent portal is going to be accessed and slightly themed. You have less theming options than the point of sale portal, the portal that's used by the borrowers, which you'll see more about down below. Keep in mind too, this is one of those settings that can have additional customizations at the branch and user level. Credentials manages org level credentials or credentials that should or could be used by all users across the organization. Pre-approval letter sets up the pre-approval letter template at the org level. Again, there's the potential for this to be customized at the branch and sometimes the individual level. Plans and billing is one of the options that only shows up at the company level in company settings. This manages how all of your accounts are billed, the amount of seats you have remaining or where you can purchase more seats, as well as a place to pay your bill if you're not already working with your AE on a payment plan. Integrations currently only holds the Zapier integration details. You'll want to go here if you are going to use Zapier with your ARIVE setup for reporting or further automation outside of the system. For automations inside the system, they have three options. The first being the LOS custom fields. This allows you to add custom fields with some limitations to either the loan and property tab or the loan center tab inside of the file. This dovetails nicely with the automation rules, which allows you to cause things to happen when certain triggers are met, including when these custom fields are filled in or actioned upon. Client need rules, on the other hand, corresponds to that button you may have seen in the file for generate client needs. This is where you set up if client is X, add need rule Y. We'll get more into how to best handle that later. The POS settings, all of these tie directly into the point of sale portal, which is where the borrower can complete their application and satisfy borrower needs by uploading documents and e-signing. Borrower app config is the first layer where you can make configurations about the borrower's experience in the point of sale. Point of sale theme gives you additional configuration options for theming, colors, images, and other elements of the point of sale experience. Compliance info, you guessed it, has the compliance and disclosures that need to be displayed on the POS site, which you can customize as needed per the recommendation of your compliance person. Lead form config is different than when the borrower fills in an application through the POS. This is a smaller form with less questions that creates a lead record instead of a full application. Lead management is where you decide and build in the rules of how those leads will be handled and how assignment can be handled. Now we get into the email settings. Email and SMS configuration sets up the credentials at your org level for email and text messaging. Keep in mind, these credentials can also be different at the branch level and the individual level. We also have the email and SMS templates where you adjust default language and the dynamic fields that are filled in for the various stages of the loan that send out emails, as well as a couple other milestones and actions that have associated email templates with it. Email tracking is especially useful for an admin when you're trying to track down if an email was sent, where it was sent, and if it was successful. SMS tracking is the same, but for text messages. Closing costs is kind of the partner tab to the lenders tab, except this is a place where you build rules to add fees that aren't lender specific or that might span multiple lenders. A good rule of thumb is if you are trying to add a fee that isn't lender specific, it should be built in the closing cost tab. Forms list is where all the form templates exist for the documents that you generate inside ARIVE. Keep in mind this is forms that are separate from your disclosure documents that would still be handled in DocMagic, but maybe one-off forms such as a verification of employment or maybe a SSA 89, things of that kind. Form sets lets you take those custom and pre-defined forms and group them together into sets to be more easily generated all together and all at once. Under the User Management tab, you have the Branches tab, where we can edit and manage to a certain extent the existing branches under our organization. If you want to add a new branch, however, though, that still needs to be added through a support ticket as of the time of this recording. The Users tab lets you add, remove, and edit users' permissions, capabilities, and details. Roles is mostly a tab for reporting. It shows you all of the roles that exist in your organization, and then will give you a list of all the users that hold that role. Keep in mind, there is not default functionality to export these lists as of the time of this recording.